Blacklogic. Now, this is part two of what I stated before I had to go to my son's basketball game, but we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to give you guys very quickly a brief. We talked about the only legislation that has been proposed to Congress to be passing legislation that had any sort of teeth, baby teeth at most, is Cori Bush's reparations bill. It's the only one that has an actual number on it at $14 trillion, even though it should be a lot more than that. And it's also the only bill that actually has the direct cash payments. There's all these other list of bills what we went over earlier. Okay, we're just going to do an overview before we get into the heart of the second video of HR 40, which is a study. And then you have the House Concurrent Resolution 44, which is a formal apology for Black Americans. Then you have the Reparations Now resolution, and that came from Cori Bush. And again, I stated that she mentioned $14 trillion in direct cash payments. Mostly you're stating a number around $100 trillion. And family, the reason why that number is so high is because the amount of oppression that people have went through that undermined, that literally stole from them any amount of wealth that they could ever build and or pass down to their descendancies. We also have these other bills in here by these gentlemen. There's a study for reparations for California. There's another study for reparations for California. They have all these different Senate bills, and there's another one for New York that has you to create a commission to consider reparations for slavery. And again, that consideration is just another study, damn once again. So that is kind of the basis of course, we went over the do nothing page of the NAACP and all the jargon and bullcrap that they talk. And then at the end, they tell you land grant of 40 acres, okay, that each family of 3. First of all, they have these criterias, which they really don't show you the true criteria, right? They kind of just word it in a certain way because you're thinking that, oh, the NAACP was made for the National Association of Color People, right? Color people is now meaning everybody that's non-white. And in some instances, because people believe that the NAACP was created by a white man or established by a white man, that includes white men in too. But when we look at this, it says that each family member of 3 or more individuals, parents and children, should be granted 40 acres of tillable land. No taxes to be paid on the property for 5 years. And as I stated before in the first video, if you guys didn't see that, please watch that. The video really starts around 2 minutes and 45 seconds. In the beginning, I had some sound issues. I do apologize. But nonetheless, when we look at this family, no tax to be paid on the first 5 years. So if I give you, I want you guys to look at this from my perspective, okay, with no bias. I give you 40 acres of land. And let's take, for instance, you're making $45,000, $55,000 a year, right? And you're barely keeping your head above water. You're barely paying your bills. And I give you 40 acres. And guess what? You don't have to do nothing. There's no payments for 5 years. How are you? That means you're going to have to leverage that land and borrow against that land. And if you falter through, guess where that lands go? To that lender, to the person who are loaning you money. So that's not a good thing. And that's why direct cash payments are so damn important, okay? And then again, I have to point out the trick language here. After 1 year, no person of African descent, that means that people who have come from Haiti, people who have come from the Caribbean, and don't get me wrong, family, I love my Haitian brothers and sisters, as well as my brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and in the continent of Africa, have love for Black people throughout the diaspora. But when it comes to tangibles of my descendant line through the loins of my ancestors who established and built this country from the ground up and who have been oppressed and suppressed and killed and maimed and murmured and dismembered and hung and burned and drowned. No, you don't get none of what they died for. You get none of what they fought for. Just as well if I went over to Africa to live. Everybody's moving to Ghana to live. Fine, no problem. But I'm not going to go over to Ghana and speak against reparations for the Ghanaian people by the weight of Great Britain or the UK. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try to crowbar my way in to the conversation and or the tangibles or payout if I'm in Kenya for the reparations that you guys are owed by the way of Great Britain and all those European countries, and also those insurance companies that had a large sense in the colonization of almost the entire African continent. I'm not going to do that. Just as well, I'm not going to go to the Caribbean or go to CARICOM and try to crowbar my way into those conversations so I could possibly say, well, African Americans too were in slavery, but you wasn't in slavery in the Caribbean. Absolutely not. I won't do that. So I don't expect none of my Caribbean and African brothers and sisters try to undermine the fight and fight for reparations for Black Americans, as well as try to say, well, you know, I am African American too, because you didn't now got your citizenship and you derive from the continent of Africa, or you're someone of African descent. These low down dirty crooks of the NAACP put in African descent. And guess what, family? Guess what? If nobody can really do nothing with this land, then the land may be sold to an individual of non-African descent. Why is this important? Why am I really speaking this? Did you know that the land that was allotted for the Native Americans, which is, there's over 500 federal recognized tribal lands and sovereigns that they have. Over 500 Native American tribes that are federally recognized. And they have reservations throughout the United States of America. And guess what they don't pay on reservations? Taxes. But they're telling Black Americans, yeah, we know that you guys built the country. Yeah, we know that we put your people in slavery. Yeah, we know we raped, kidnapped, pillaged, plundered. We did all these things to your people. But guess what we're not going to do? We're not going to just give you non-taxable land like we did the Native Americans. No, we're not going to do that. Even though we know that some Black Americans were part of these Native American tribes. But since those Native American tribes some of these tribes actually got sent out on missions to track runaway slaves, and that a lot of these other tribes that had Black members in it, right, they started to debark and depart those Black folk from those Native American tribes. That's what happened. So when we look at things like this, family, no, it's not about African descent. It's those people who have lineage from slavery, okay? And then social services. And again, I just wanted to go over a quick review of what we went over early in part 1, because it's important to refresh you guys' memory. I know this is a couple of hours ago. Then we got the 10-point plan from good old NARC, the National African American Reparations Commission, which is a 10-step do nothing plan. I read this in its entirety, and they're not talking about any known tangibles. Like they're using trick language like land grants and loans. What do you think this country at 33, I didn't look at it recently, $34 trillion in debt. What do you most likely get Black Americans are going to receive? They're going to give you low interest loans. We're not owed loans. We are owed grants as well as direct cash payments, which is really important. Apology. Let's see. We don't need an apology tour. Reparation, land funds, health and wellness, education, housing and wealth generation. We have all these things that these organizations, NARC, NCORBA, NAACP, I had a whole list of these do nothing organizations, family. I really did. The problem is this. Every 2 to 4 years, these politicians come out and beg and ask for the Black vote. When they get tired of begging and asking, they start to throw little trinkets. Oh, we're going to have a pizza party. We're going to have a fish fry. We're giving away candy bracelets. And then if that doesn't work, guess what they do? They start to fearmonger you. You don't want Donald Trump in office, do you? Well, last time I checked, we already had Donald Trump in office. Ain't nothing really changed. At the end of the day, a bunch of white people thought he still won the presidency once again. They raided on January 6th. We know if that happened with Black people, all of us would pretty much be dead. But nonetheless, white people was fighting against their white government, and nothing really didn't change. Some of them are going to jail. Some of them got a little slap on the wrist, and some of them got probation. No big deal, right? No big deal. But for us, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. They want you guys out there fighting for all sorts of people except your own best interest. They want you out there for LGBTQ. They want you out there for Ukraine. They want you out there for Israel. They want you out there for Hamas, Palestinian. They want you out there for everybody except your own best interest. Then they divide the black man and the white, and they divide the black man and the black woman and give black women all of these head positions in the presidency. And you see a large flux of our beautiful, intelligent black women. They have these degrees, and now we're warring against each other. So a house divided against itself won't stand. It won't stand. Think about it. If you and your lady in the house fighting, how you think the kids are going to turn out? That is the situation we're in now, where they promote one side of the black family, and while they demonize the other side. We have influencers out here telling black men, you should listen to your black women. No, we should be listening to ourselves. It should be a family decision on the way we move forward. Now, as far as your vote, that's an individuality, but most people vote on their family values, based upon what they need for their family. And guess what? The black American family, voting Democrat hasn't helped. It hasn't worked. It has helped and worked for every other group except for our own. I really want you guys to think that. You could be a hardcore Democrat, beating the drum, protesting, lobbying. You can do all those things. But guess what it has not done? Now, maybe you benefited from voting Democrat over and over and over and over again. But when you look at the state of black America, why do you have people in Chicago crying out about illegal immigration and how they're now coming to the inner community, the inner black community? And this is the same thing they did with the Asians when the Asians came over here, whether it be the Chinese, the Vietnamese, any of the nieces. They came over here and they dropped them off in the black community. And I want to point this out as a disclaimer. I'm not anti-Asian at all. This whole manipulation that they're showing that black people are just randomly beating up Asian folk. Come on, family. When have black folk just beat up Asian people? When have we done that? When have we done that? That means that all the black shops in the black community would never get any business. That means all the Asian shops in the black community, people won't go and get their nails done. The women won't go to these beauty shops. You will not be going to Asian restaurants to eat. You won't be doing it because we're so anti-Asian, right? Right? But when you look at the hate crimes in America, who do you see at the top of the list who committed majority of the hate crimes? White Americans. And when you look at the number of hate crimes that they committed on Asian American, it's like 5 times the amount that they allegedly said that black folks did. But what they show on news is that black people are just going out hurting Asian folk, which is untrue. Which is untrue. See, this is what we have to reveal to other black people, our brothers and sisters, of how the Democratic Party is the puppet master and is pulling all of our strings. Right? If you're not one of the people who just jump on everybody's boat and try to support them, then they try to get you with, well, what about these illegal immigrants that's coming over here that doesn't have anywhere to go? Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm for immigration because these people are coming from war-torn countries and their children and their family don't have anything. Then they drop them off in your neighborhood. They don't drop them off in a rich neighborhood. They are now evicting black kids from all of these community clubs so they can house migrants. Why didn't they do that in the white neighborhood? Why didn't they do that in the Asian neighborhood? Because they know that black people are not going to do anything. You're just going to cry. You're just going to whine. You're not going to do anything. And I don't mean do anything physical, family. I mean have a show of force and really protest like they used to do back in the day. Stand in front of the community building. Stand in front of this. Actually doing things that's nonviolent, okay? That is nonviolent, that is going to really make a change. But here's the most powerful thing that black Americans can do to show these political parties that we're tired of playing around with them. That we're totally tired of playing around with them. Don't vote. Don't vote unless they have direct cash payments, reparations, and making black Americans a protected class on the table. That's what you do. Don't vote. Don't vote because these so-called model citizens, oh yeah, here they go. Here they go. Snuff. What happened? Did I miss something? Oh, they don't want to show the smashing and grabbing? They don't want to show that our so-called model citizens are not as model as they think. And believe me, family, these things happen more often than you think, but they would like to show us running from the police. Sometimes if they can see black people's skin, because a lot of people have been covering themselves up in these so-called smash and grabs. They've been doing all these things and it's been going under the radar because mass media has an agenda. So you have to come to the black media in order to get those things. You have to come to the black grassroots in order to get this information, because here's what I've been noticing. We started having a movement against black people who are speaking out negatively about black people. See, it's one of those things. We may have problems at home, but we don't go in the streets and tell everybody our business, right? So don't support that racial narrative and racial trope. Well, what about black on black crime? Shut your ass up, nigga. Stop it. I'm tired of black folk talking bad about black folk. And they don't understand well, here's another thing. They do understand, but it's almost like they're turncoats. It's almost like they're coons. It's almost like they're traitors because they believe they'll get clout, benefits, trinkets, and gifts if they go against their own kind. We know the debauchery in the black community, but is there a cause? See, anytime you're trying to figure out a problem, family, guess the first thing you do, you get a group of like-minded individuals, some specialists, some professionals, some people with degrees, and you brainstorm. And you walk yourself back like, okay, this is going on. We have the majority of homeless black people. Black people are the lowest impoverished class. Black people have a high crime rate. Black people, nutrition, black people. Okay, now that we have all the issues, can we now follow the steps going backwards to the root cause? Everybody, well, slavery happened such a long time ago. What about Jim Crow? Well, Jim Crow happened such a long time ago. What about the burning of our towns? Well, the Black Wall Street, not street, but Black Wall Streets. There was way more than one. Well, that happened in such a long time ago. What about the massacres that happened all around the U.S., even in the North? Not just the South, even in the North, because some people believe that there was no slavery in the North, which it was. Well, that happened such a long time ago. What about all the sinking of the black town? That happened such a long time ago. So at every moment, every time black people started to get their footing, started to get their foundation, started to get going, guess what occurred? There was some white onslaught of criminals and thugs that came and destroyed our communities, came and stole from our black freedmen bank, came and destroyed our insurance company, came and destroyed our hospitals and clinics. And if that didn't work, they blamed a black guy from looking at a white woman. They blamed a black guy for fondling with a white woman. They blamed a black guy for touching a white woman's butt. And guess what? All these accusations and accusatory things that we're doing were unfounded. A group of lynch mob people got together and went and go kill black people. That's what happened. That's what happened. See, that's the problem that we have when we start having people that look like us start to speak up and speak out about a political party that don't give a damn about you. And then we keep giving these political parties passes when they say dumb shit. Joe Biden on the Breakfast Club sat there and said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. What? And then I hear something like, well, that wasn't that bad, And then I said, and here's the thing, family, apolitical. I'm not a Democrat, not a Republican, not an independent. This is a black man in America that care about his people. Listen to this. I say, what did Trump say? Are you a Trump supporter? No, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm asking you, Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like we're his slaves or some shit. Oh, well, that's a stretch, brother. That's a stretch. Okay, that's a stretch. What did Donald Trump say that was close to what Joe Biden said? Don't worry, I'll wait. What was the racist thing that Trump said? What did he say? See, there was something that Donald Trump did say that offended me very, very slightly. In one of his rallies, he said, hey, there's one of my African Americans over there. That's what he did. And I was like, ooh, but to get on national TV and tell black people you're not black unless you vote for me, that's a whole different level. That's just a whole different level. And he got on national TV, family, and he told black people, if you don't vote, he said, we got your back. Remember when Joe said, the African American community had my back and I'm gonna have theirs. And since then, he's given billions of dollars to Ukraine while our black brothers and sisters are laying on the street homeless. He gave billions of dollars to Israel where you're still trying to get affordable health care plan to take care of your elderly family members. You see what I'm saying? He gave billions of dollars for illegal immigration, catch and release program. But he still hasn't done to build up the infrastructure of the black community. Do you know we still have black communities with non-potable drinking water? And see, Republicans sometimes use that in order to sway the black vote because some people are like, well, if you don't vote Democrat, then there's a vote for the Republicans. I don't care. Cut the check. I don't care. And here's the family. I want people to get on board, but I know it's some hard where, our ancestors died for us to vote. No, they died for you to have the freedom to vote or not to vote. Stop feeling compelled and convicted and contracted to vote where your ancestors died for you the right to vote or not to vote. This is like they stood up for the right for the Second Amendment, for you to bear arms. Do everybody have a gun? No, they do not. It's the same thing, family. It's the same thing. When I look at these things, you have to be hella high water to understand how these political parties put in layers of deception. They put black people in high places to persuade black folk to continue to go out and vote for them every 2 to 4 years, and it's been working ever since Lyndon B. Johnson. And this is why people like Ron DeSantis stated the Stop Woke Act. They don't want black people to wake up. They're like, you better stop them black people from waking up. They opting out the political process, and we need them damn votes. And see, the Republicans really don't count on black people's vote. They know they get like 1 or 2%. They just don't want you to vote. And then you say, well, Ross, Blacklogic, you're telling us that we shouldn't vote. Because here's the thing. Some of these political parties, they need the black vote. They need a certain level of the black vote, especially the Democrats. So they're in a pressure cooker. We're in our same situation. You see what I'm saying? Whether we vote or we don't, we're in the same situation. So why go do something that works against my best interest? No, I'm sitting right at home. They say, hey, man, this was in Texas. Hey, man, it's voting day. Hey, man, good luck. Hope you got enough gas. Shit, I'm not going out there. They ain't doing nothing for me. They do something for all these people. They made Asian Americans a protected class. They made Asians Americans. Somebody said, no, they didn't make Asian Americans a protected class. That was COVID-19 bill. And I said, did you read the bill? It specifically said Asian Americans. It specifically said Asian Americans. And see, that's the problem. Some of us, we need to read, and some of us just need to watch me. I got my brother Jermaine Anderson, Stephen in the room. Thank you for that donation, Laverne Gibbs. I appreciate it. I do appreciate all the donations. Like Umar Johnson, donations. Okay? So here's what we have to understand about reparations and everything I've been talking about ever since earlier today, family, is that first and foremost, cash payments are tangible means for the righting of past wrongs. That's the first thing. And a lot of these things I'm speaking of are not this exoteric sort of righting the wrongs. It's about the amount of land that was stolen, that people got killed to be taken, that was stripped, that taxes were raised in order for the city, the county, and the state to take back our family's land. So us, new generation, we're all living in fucking apartments. We're renting. And who are we making rich? The people who own the apartments. The house is one of the most beneficial things that you can buy, right? A house is a weird investment. It's an asset and it's a liability at the same time. Because after you own your house anywhere from 2 to 5 years, you have a good chunk of equity depending on the economy, but nonetheless, you've built up equity depending on your environment. There's a lot of factors, but nonetheless, home ownership is a way that you can go in and take equity out of your home and go buy rental property. Take equity out of your home, start your own business. Take equity out of your home and buy a vehicle that you may need, not that you want. You shouldn't buy a liability unless you absolutely need it with the equity outside your home. But that's the first thing, family, direct cash payments. That's what we need. And I told you there's been some figures thrown around. Cori Bush, she's talking about 14 trillion. That's not a lot of money. Someone said 100 trillion that gives each Black American $2 million, but land grants, because land ownership is a cornerstone of economic empowerment. We advocate for the allocation of land grants, particularly in areas with historical significance to our Black community, because we understand that land grants and ownership of land is a way that we can cultivate and foster generational wealth. Then they were talking about, well, after 5 years, that's when we're going to tax you. No, we need tax exemption indefinitely, because that will ensure financial stability. That will ensure financially stability. And then and there's some other things that was in the NARC 10-point plan, they talking about education. Yes, we need education, absolutely. But when you give up them reparations, we will get education. We will get vocational training. We will get college tuition. And that will equip us with the tools that we need to thrive in various industries, especially AI, automation, robotics, etc. That's the problem, family. That's the problem we've been dealing with, because we keep falling for the trick bag. We keep falling for the trick bag day in and day out. And I know some of you are just like, I'm tired of all this politics. I'm tired of all this divisiveness. And that's why I'm calling for a national call for timeout. Take a timeout for the political process. See if anything changes, right? It's kind of like this. You've been voting every 2 to 4 years for the Democrat or from the Republican Party, which one you choose. And I really want to ask, for you, what did it really change? So if it really didn't change anything and you're voting for other people, guess what those other people are voting for? Themselves. When Asian Americans get together and vote, they don't vote for Black Americans. They don't vote for white Americans. They vote for Asian Americans. When Hispanic Americans get together and vote, they don't vote for Black Americans. This whole Black and Brown coalition, and I know some of you got, Hispanic girlfriends, Hispanic boyfriends, Hispanic wives, and, Hispanic, whatever. That doesn't have anything to do with your ploy for your people. You get what I'm trying to say? I understand when people are voting for their people's best interests. And I'm asking, if you're not going to vote for our best interests, shit, you're fighting against yourself. Because here's the thing I want you guys to really understand when it comes to what's been occurring. Okay, this is what I want you guys to understand. First and foremost, this is out of Chicago, state of Illinois. This is what the illegal immigrants are receiving from Chicago. Rental assistance, up to $9,000 in rental assistance over a 6-month period, which include assistance with moving in and a starter kit to furnish their apartments. The most my mother ever got was good meat cheese and some farina and some powdered milk. I don't remember them giving us some rentals assistance and helping us to move in. What? Oh my God. I wish I could go to another country. They say, hey, listen, what we're going to do for you, we're going to fast track you to citizenship so you can be a citizen. We're going to fast track you to get your work permit. I know you guys been hearing all of this. And not only that, we're going to give you $9,000 in rental assistance over a 6-month period. And then some of you ask, man, all of those people in one apartment. Well, yeah, they're getting $9,000 and the rent is only $1,000. They came up on a bag. And here's the thing. Well, my family came over here with only 10 cents in their pocket. Well, yeah, you guys, 30 of you guys lived in a 1-bedroom apartment for a year while the government was paying you guys $8,000, $9,000, right? Not only did you get help moved in, but guess what else you benefited from? The refugee program. Yeah. If you go to Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela, Afghanistan, I'm just naming some of the countries of all the damn people that's over here. Okay, Afghanistan, Turkestan, China, India, Russia. All these countries are over here in America benefiting from the immigration and refugee program. Don't just think it's Hispanic people, family. It's not just Hispanic people. It's Afghanis as well. It's Ukrainian as well. It's a lot of people over here benefiting from this so-called refugee and asylum-seeking programs. Okay, let me continue on. Guess what else they're doing? Refugee program. We're going English as a second language, vocational training, job readiness, and job placement. What's vocational training? What is vocational training? That's learning a trade. That's being a carpenter, electrician, underwater welder, a plumber. They're learning tangible skills that they can feed their family in America indefinitely until the robots and AI take over, right? But this is what they're receiving. And I'm asking yourself, you voting in this political system and not using your vote as leverage to, man, I'm really trying to choose my words wisely because when you're fired up, you say some shit that you can't take back on the internet, right? But they are giving away the entire country in a handbag. Here's my point. Government benefits, right? The supplemental food program for women, infants and children, WIC, women in care. Women and infants and children. All kids public school education, Head Start, health benefits for immigrant adults and health benefits for immigrant seniors, right? Funding for local governments, $41.5 million. And guess what else they're getting? SSI, SNAP, TAF, Medicaid. And family, if you guys are not familiar with some of this shit, let me break this down to you, okay? Let me break this down to you because when we talk about SSI, did you know that SSI provides financial assistance to low-income individuals who are disabled, blind, and also qualified immigrants, right? Because they got this thing where all of these assistant programs are talking about qualified immigrants. Can I tell you what the government consider a qualified immigrant? A immigrant who is in America based upon their refugee and asylum seeking status. Oh my God. So before I go down this laundry list of these benefits they're going to get, let me say this. Before I go down this whole laundry list, let me say this. How does the American government literally videotape, watch, and see people with their family, their elderly, their children, illegally cross over into a country that's not theirs? And then they state, we are asylum seekers. We fear for the prosecution, which is lies. They don't fear for prosecution from the political party in their countries. They just know that America is giving away all sorts of benefits for people who cross over illegally. That's what they're doing. They're not asylum seeking and refugees. They're not. They're not. Why do you think you see these large caravans coming from all these countries into America? You mean to tell me that none of these countries are stable? They march all the way through South America, Central America, Mexico into America. You got people over in India and China and all these other countries. They are flying into Mexico just to go across the goddamn border. I'm thinking about, what we should do, family? We should all get in the plane, fly to Mexico, hide your passport, and walk through. And start speaking French, because then you pretend like you're from Haiti, right? Comment allez-vous? J'aurais monsieur tout et toi. Et vous? Ah, placez-vous. Ah, bonjour, monsieur. That's how we'll be talking. Like I'm Haitian. Oh, okay. Well, you get all these damn benefits. Let me finish. There's a lot of benefits, family, for being an illegal immigrant. Okay, we talked about SSI. What about SNAP? What about SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program that provides food assistance to immigrants? TAF, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. It provides financial assistance to families and children. Medicaid, we already know what that's about. CHIP, health insurance for kids. Then you have Social Security that provides another amount of money to immigrants as well. So the only thing I'm looking at here, family, is money on top of money, on top of money, on top of money. And some of you guys don't even qualify for this. And matter of fact, after they receive that $9,000, and they receive that security income, and they receive the nutrition assistance program, and then their health care is taken care of, and then they also get TAB, which is also another assistance for needy families. Once they receive all these benefits, they're going to be making more money than you. Just like that. Just like that. But wait, there's more. Let's move over to New York. New York offers a variety of benefits to immigrants, including $180 per month per person for up to 2 years, utility and housing vouchers, fair fares, and Medicaid. So New York is like, well, we don't really have the money to give them, but we give them housing vouchers. Housing vouchers? So I don't know if you guys have been noticing this, but in New York, they have been firing people from hotels, and they're now been putting migrants in these hotels. Now, you can fact check me on this, but two of the hotels that I think I'm familiar, they're either New York or Chicago. I get them mixed up every now and again. One name of the hotel is called Selena, and the other name of a hotel is called the Kinsey. Look those up. They fired the workers, and now they're housing illegal immigrants inside of them, okay? But they're getting housing vouchers. They can just go in and live whatever they want, I guess. Undocumented immigrants, cash assistance twice a month to buy toiletries and clothes, Medicaid for Medicare, and low cost or no cost health insurance. Are we fucking kidding? Listen, family, listen. First, they're giving $180 per month, okay? First, they're getting $180 per month. Then it stays here for undocumented immigrants, they're gonna get cash assistance again. They're getting cash assistance again, right? So that's more money on top of money, and they're getting Medicaid, so they don't have to pay any medical bill. And they said low or no cost health insurance. So they don't pay health insurance, no cost. Then they said the refugees / asylees, right? Those asylum seekers, SSI, Medicaid, food stamps for the first 7 years. I don't even know what color to color it. I don't know what color to color it. They're getting Social Security income. Wait a minute, hold up. Ask yourself this question, family. Where are they getting Social Security income from? Remember on your pay stub, all those taxes, the FICA tax and the Social Security tax? Let me show you again. That's where your fucking money is going. That's where your money is going. For the first 7 years, the first 7 years of being granted asylum, the first 7 years, you know what I could do with free money and free benefits and free health care and free food for the first 7 years? I will be a millionaire. Because all the money I'm receiving from the government, I don't have to, because I'm getting housing vouchers, I'm getting Social Security income, I'm getting Medicaid, I'm getting food stamps, where all the Maslow hierarchies of life are being taken care of. So the money, don't forget, it's 30 of us that live in this one bedroom apartment, and you wonder why all these guys got businesses. Of course they can build a business. Of course they can build a business. You gave them $9,000. They gave you $9,000 and all of your needs are being taken care of. I take that $9,000, his $9,000, we got $18,000. That's too easy to create a business. I can buy a bunch of shit from Temu and sell it for you for 10 times the amount. This bracelet right, and let me show you something. This bracelet right here, there's a Black-owned business called A Few Wood Men. That's the name of the business, A Few Wood Men. And my wife, she knows I like these beads right here. But this particular one is from Temu. When I buy bracelets from A Few Wood Men, I get 2 of these for $50. I get 2 of these for $50. Do you know how much this costs on Temu? $1.32. $1.32. And A Few Woodmen sell this for $50. So when I'm talking about starting a business, selling you bull crap from China, which you're already receiving, they can do this hand over fist. Come on, man. It's too easy. It's too easy if the government is going to pay for my housing, my food, and my Medicare. All the other money is profit. All the other money is profit. And other black people are trying to tell black people, stop begging the government for money. We're not asking them for no money. They owe us this money by the loins in the hard work and the murder, death, kill of our people, of the land that was stolen, of the towns that were that were burned and buried and flooded. This is money that is owed. So stop telling black people to pull themselves up by their bootstrap. Go mind your own damn business, because here's another thing, family. Well, if they pay you guys reparations, then our taxes are going to go up. Why ain't nobody making that same argument about the Native Americans? Can anybody tell me why they're not making the same argument about the Native Americans? Can anybody? Because here's the thing. The Native Americans didn't build America. Black Americans built America. I want you to guys look, who were the first one to create the railroad? 1843, Black Americans. 20 years later, then came the Chinese, so don't give me that. Who built the White House, the monument, the Capitol? Black Americans. Don't give me that. Who built the first foundational road? Black Americans. Who was out there cutting trees down, de-rooting trees, smoothing out the rocks, dirt by hand, with shovels, with hand tools? Black Americans. That's why when we say we built the foundation, we got receipts, and also we got invoices of all the things that we did. And you didn't pay our people, but you paid everybody else. You didn't pay Black Americans, but you paid everybody else. You paid the Japanese, you paid the Native Americans, you paid the Jews, you paid the Ukraine. You're paying everybody except Black Americans. And then you tell me ain't no racism in America. Man, kiss my ass. It's plenty of discrimination, racism, and bias in America. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop with the lies. K Public Education, New York State, in compliance with 1982 Supreme Court decision that requires state to provide K through 12 public education with students without legal immigrant status. I call that the anchor baby legislation, where someone over here, see, they're using our Constitution against us. It's kind of one of those catch-all things. Anybody who was born in the United States of America is a citizen. This is why I am calling for these do-nothing politicians on both sides of the House to revise, revamp, and just rewrite the damn Constitution, okay? It needs to be edited. It needs to be edited. Because if you come over here illegally, bloop, drop a baby, then the baby is a United States citizen. People are literally pregnant, coming over the border. Oh, my water broke. I'm in America. Now there's a U.S. citizen. Come on. What other country, and that's the reason why America is the greatest country in the world. No, it's not. They're using our Constitution against us. This is the problem. Let me see what some of you guys are saying. TKS stated, just watched a video. Biden said he need to be voting in 4 more years to get the economy back on track. Man, please. I'm sure you voted for Biden. Don't switch up now. Hey, listen, TKS, did not vote for Biden. Voted for Obama, unfortunately, because he didn't do anything else, right? But I think a lot of black people already knew that Obama, especially after the first term, he didn't do nothing, and thinking like me, he was going to do something the second term, but he didn't do it anyway. Okay, so that's what it is. And guess what? When I looked up the benefits that that NYC has given migrants, guess what? Also, they got down here, they got more stuff. Qualified health care plan and essential plans, child health insurance program, or they already know the chip. Then they got ADAP, AIDS Drug Assistance Program. So if you are an illegal immigrant and you just came over the border with a drug problem, check out our AIDS Drug Assistance Program, where we can help you to non-be an addicted or flooded of drugs. What did I say? I have no fucking idea. Because here's the problem. You see all the assistance that these people are getting. And here they also put public housing on here. Public housing on here. Federal Medicaid, safety net. And when you talk to some of your white counterparts, not all, some of them truly understand what the hell is going on. When you speak to some of your white counterparts at work, or maybe a friend, sometimes they bring up these things, well, aren't most black people on welfare? Hell no. Most black people are not on welfare. See, when you start giving them statistics, they don't know what to do. They start, 47% of black Americans are in the middle class. 47% of black Americans are in the middle class. 10% of black Americans make over $200,000. And of course, that number starts to decrease as the numbers go up. But we're already talking about more than half. 57% of black Americans are not below the poverty line, but we still have the largest number according to our percentage, not simple numbers. We can never compare with simple numbers because we know the white population is higher as well as the Hispanic population. But when we talk about the number of people on welfare, the majority of them are white Americans and illegal immigrants. And people will try to beat me across my head and tell me, America's a democracy. America's a capitalist country. Well, first of all, America, according to the Constitution, is a republic, even though it acts as a democracy. That's number one. Then number two, if you're going to say that America is a capitalist country, then I will have to put a dash after the word capitalist and put socialist, because just tell me if I'm wrong. Are these not socialist programs? Are these not socialist programs? I just highlighted for you guys, and I'm trying to re-highlight this so we can see the words here. Let me just delete this. So you guys really need to see this. Tell me what capitalist country is going to give people Social Security money, health care, money for food for 7 years. What capitalist country would do that? What capitalist country for almost 10 years is going to give people free everything? Oh, yeah, man, that's free. Yeah. They'll send that in the mail. That's free. See, there are some exceptions to the rule. Here are the exception of a lot of these programs that asylum seekers and refugee seekers are receiving. Our elderly, exception to the rule. Some of them can no longer take care of themselves. Our military, those who sacrifice their lives, okay, who actually serve the country, who has upheld the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Code of Conduct, those who sacrifice their lives, whether they are dead or alive, they should be receiving all these benefits. Yeah. The elderly, the handicapped, the veterans, the military personnel, these are the ones who be receiving these damn benefits. And when we talking about rewriting the Constitution, whoever was born in the United States is a citizen. No. Whoever was born legally in the United States is a citizen. Okay? Wait a minute. Okay, you was born in America. Hold up. Your citizenship status is on hold. It's pending. Where your mother from? Oh, okay. She from Guatemala? Okay, wait a minute. Well, how long she been in America? Wait a minute. We got her as an illegal immigrant. Revoked, you're no longer American citizen. And people think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Because people are literally crossing the border and receiving more benefits that American citizens have ever received in their lives. But see, now it's hitting home because Black people, especially in Chicago and New York, and white people in New York, and some in Chicago as well, are now seeing what we have been going through for damn near an eternity, for eons in this country. But see, nobody cares unless it hit homes for them, right? And this is why I'm telling Black people, stop putting on the cape for other people. Stop. We have our own issues. We have our own problems. And here's my thing. Don't waste your energy for people who are not going to waste their energy on you. They're just not going to do it. You're going to get a couple of them out there, but these same groups are, why they always want Black Americans in the mix? You know why they want Black Americans in the mix? Because when we get in the mix, we get shit done. Anytime you've seen national protests, who was leading it? Who was leading it? And see, I want you to think about this too, family. When we think about George Floyd, you think things got better after George Floyd? No. The police are still brutalizing, killing Black people who are unarmed. Okay? And don't get me wrong, not every single case that the police involved with a Black person is wrong. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying there's still unarmed Black people out here getting killed by the hands of the race soldiers with badges. That's what I'm saying. But did they make us a protected class? Did they eliminate qualified immunity? Because what if you had the same power and leverage as a police officer, right? Somebody invades your personal space, you pull out your pistola and you kill them and you say, you know what? I fear for my life. I fear for my life. Oh yeah, that angry guy who was unarmed was 10 feet away from you. We understand how you were scared in broad daylight with people around you. We're scared. I don't know how you get what I'm getting at? There is a lot that we as a large group of people are dealing with. And note taken, I understand Black Americans are not a monolith. I know that Black Americans don't all go through the same discrimination, right? We don't all go through the same bias. But there's a very, very large percentage of us who has been discriminated upon, who has been racially profiled, who has been called the N-words multiple times, who has been beaten, almost hung, and killed simply because of our skin color. So when I tell you this, family, that all of these people, and again, I don't want to focus on Hispanics because it's much bigger than that. And we have some Hispanic Americans who ride with Black Americans. It's just not enough that's overtaking mass media to a point where they're supporting everybody else. I did a video a couple of months ago how there are white supremacist groups in Mexico. You should definitely check that out, because a lot of people don't think that Hispanics can be white supremacists. Well, there are a quote unquote a lot of white Latinos out there from different countries who can mend and blend in with white Americans. And because of, I think it was RULAC. RULAC is an organization that actually fought for Hispanic Americans to be labeled as white. That's why Hispanics are not considered a race, because they can actually choose whatever race they want. A brown-skinned Mexican, a truly brown-skinned Mexican on the census form can put white. And then, of course, a white Hispanic can put white. But when you're my color, just go ahead and put black. Ain't no line about that, right? When you're this shade of gray, you go ahead and put black. But that's the point I'm making. So when we look at the numbers, if you go to censusbureau.gov, you will see that white, they will give you a label like white, and it'll say like 70-some%, and then you come down to the bottom and say white non-Hispanic, because they understand that a lot of Hispanics label themselves as white. Why do they do that? Why would Hispanics label themselves as white? Because Hispanics, the reason why they're not one race is because usually Hispanics are 2 to 4 races. Now, when you take reference to Mexicans, Mexicans are usually mixed with Spaniards, Aztec Native Americans, Aztec Indians, and also Tainos, okay? They're usually a mixture, an amalgamation of those three. So that's why they never, ever say they're ethnic, not a race, because they can actually pick whatever race they want, essentially. And my question is, why don't most Hispanics label themselves as Native Americans? Because there's no benefits. I went to Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Ricans that you'll see in New York, they're usually brown skinned. They some of them actually look like, black women and black men. But when you go to Puerto Rico, there's Puerto Ricans that look like white people. You wouldn't even know it until they start speaking Spanish. You're like, oh no, I'm Puerto Rican. You're like, whoa, okay. I know when you go to Argentina and Chile, you got a lot of white Hispanics there, and there's some white Mexicans and white Guatemalans. They have white people everywhere, white Costa Ricans, white Colombians, right? They just come over here, you think they're white people, especially if they don't talk with an accent, but that's how they blend in. So family, again, this video is not to be divisive, but it's to give you guys a breakdown of what's truly happening in America and how we can lift the veil up and actually show what's going on so we stop getting tricked and manipulated and having political parties fearmonger us to vote for one party or another. That's the problem. And if you're going to vote for your best interests. Vote for your best interests. Stop worrying about all these other bills and laws that have nothing to do with you. Oh, they overturned Roe v. Wade. Well, I'm pro-choice. I tell people, there's a lot of people trying to choose pro-choice, pro-life. I get it. Let me tell you what I am. I'm pro-responsibility. I'm pro-responsibility. I'm just like the next man. I made mistakes when I was young. Didn't wrap it up when I should have. But that's an issue for your parents. You need to be taught pro-responsibility. It's about being responsible. If we know that teenagers out here having sex unprotected, and regardless if you tell them to use contraceptives in protection or not, then they're going to have to deal with the consequences. But these are the things that we have to teach our youth so they can be responsible for their actions and be accountable about what occurs when those things. Because some people were using Plan B and abortions, okay, Plan B and abortion as birth control instead of being responsible. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, at the detriment of the black community, the only thing it's doing is decreasing our numbers. Malcolm X said that the Negro is politically immature. You know why Malcolm X said that the Negro is politically immature? Because he understood that politicians are going to try to scare you, trick you, manipulate you, and the most tool that they use the most is symbolism. They created a George Floyd statue. What does a statue do for Black Americans? What are you going to do? Are you going to go visit the George Floyd statue and be like, yup, for 9 minutes he kneeled on his neck with those other 3 police officers and they killed George Floyd right here. Then what? After you reminisce on the love that you had, plug, what are you going to do after that? Because did you know they didn't pass the George Floyd bill? Did you know that? They didn't pass it. They gave you a statue or statues, I think there's more than one, but they didn't pass the bill. They didn't pass the legislation. And this is what Malcolm X was talking about, that the Negro is politically immature because they can throw the rock and hide the hand and you didn't see it. They threw the rock and hid the hand and you didn't see it. Wait a minute, hold up. Did you just throw something? No, we didn't throw anything. Oh, okay, cool. I'm telling you, family, they're not only playing with your emotions, but they're toying with your intelligence because they think black people are stupid. And I don't want to go down this laundry list. Do I have to do this, family? I won't do it. But we damn near invented everything in America. And we still are inventing shit. Y'all remember the black guy who went to, I think he went to Michigan. He went to some states. He had that machine that captured the moisture in the air and created water, fresh drinking water, right there on the spot. He said, hey, man, I'm going to have a cup of fresh water for you in about 5 minutes. Hold on. Press his machine, and people just drinking fresh water. There's another black guy who just created a car company that will retrofit, that will convert your electric car into your gas car into an electric car. Black ingenuity, black innovation. Who created the internet? Emmett McHenry. Look him up. Emmett McHenry created the internet. But they would tell you otherwise. Who created the first home defense? Marion Van Brown. The list goes on and on and on. But nobody will tell you, well, we know George Washington Carver, he did the peanuts and the soybean. Not only that, you know what they never tell you about George Washington Carver, family? That he was creating shit for the military, and one of the most important inventions he ever had was creating plastic from soybean. He created plastic from soybean. That's what a lot of people won't tell you. But again, our laundry list of all the achievements that we made in this America is extensive. But if you don't know your history, these people can tell you anything and you're going to ride with it. You're going to put on the cape and you're going to be out there pumping your fist. Yeah, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. Looking like a damn fool. Looking like a damn fool. You don't know your lineage. You don't know your history. You don't know our great achievements. And then you talking about pull yourself from our bootstraps. We did all of those things in Jim Crow. We created all those things during the time of slavery. And we're still doing some of those great things today. But I'm not letting it go. There's a debt that America owes to Black Americans, descendants of slaves. And don't work against your own best interests. As I tell people, as polite as I could ever tell anyone, brother, I understand your positions on reparations, but from you to I, can you just do me a favor? Just shut the fuck up.